Today we're covering 15 quick tips for motorcycle group riding. Hey crew, this is Mike with Riding in the Ozarks. And today's tips for group riding are my opinion and my opinion only. I'm just a guy that gets asked to lead the group. A lot. Now, these tips are what I think are important in most cases, but some specific groups or clubs may have different guidelines, and if you're riding with them, you should follow their guidelines. If at some point their guidelines make you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, then you probably need to reevaluate who you're riding with. 1. Know your hand signals. If you don't know your hand signals, I'll put a link in the description down below to a place that'll take you where you can study those. I'm also going to throw a picture up on the screen here, so you can go ahead and pause the video now, study those and learn those before you go on a group ride. 2. Be ready to ride. And by that I mean be there early, before kick stands up. Kick stands up is commonly abbreviated KSU, so if you see a form that says 8 a.m. KSU, you need to be there before 8 a.m. and ready to go at 8 a.m. That means have your tank filled up or close to it. Use the bathroom if you need to. God forbid, you do not want to be the person that has to stop 30 or 45 minutes into a ride because you've got to use the bathroom and nobody else does. Just don't be that guy. 3. If you're a slower rider, or maybe you're just a more cautious rider in general than other riders, and you like to ride at a more relaxed pace, then try and position yourself or ask to be in the rear of the group. If you'd like to run harder and you're a more aggressive rider, then try and position yourself near the front. Part of the idea here is to put people who ride at similar speeds together, and usually it's better for the slower, more relaxed riding people to be in the rear and not have aggressive people up their ass going down the road. That makes sense? 4. Make sure you have an experienced rider bringing up the back of the group who's equipped with tools, first aid items, and has a way to contact the leader if he should need to get a hold of them or have the group stop or meet somewhere down the road. If I'm leading a group, I generally make sure the last rider, who is often called the sweep or tail gunner, has my cell phone number and knows how to text me. We have a code. They text 911 if it's an emergency and we need to get the whole group stopped right away. This would be like if someone had an accident or a medical emergency or something of that nature. Otherwise, it's 411 for me to bring the group to a safe place to stop, whether that's a parking lot, gas station, something like that. And then we generally wait there or we try to get more information to find out what happened. Now, I ride a street glide and I'm able to read the first 3 digits of a text on the screen of my bike, so I don't have to check my phone to do that. So that's why we use that particular code. That's just another little personal tip that I found works well for me when I'm leading the group. Now, I know this tip is maybe more for people who are organizing a group, but if you're riding in a group that doesn't seem to be organized, they don't have a guy running sweep that has tools and first aid kits and experience, then I'd probably reevaluate the group, especially if it's a large organized ride thing and not just you and a couple of buddies out riding in a group. 5, and this is probably one of the most important tips. Ride your own ride. Do not outride your skills. Do not try and keep up with the group because you're afraid of getting left behind. If you start falling back, the group should realize it and slow down the pace for you to stay with the pack. If it's a really big group, the leader may not be able to see that part of the group is falling back, but when they get to a stop, they should be doing a check to make sure everyone is still there, and they will generally wait somewhere safe for everyone to catch up and regroup. 6. Do not crowd another biker. You may unintentionally pressure them to ride faster than they're capable of. But everyone wants to have a good time, but nobody has a good time if someone wrecks and gets hurt. As my buddy Big Smitty likes to say, let's try not to be assholes to each other. 7. Ride staggered, which means you should have 2 seconds between you and the bike directly in front of you and 1 second between you and the bike in front and to your side. When we talk about 2 seconds and 1 second, this is not a specific distance. The faster you're riding, the further that distance is going to be. The easiest way to figure this out is to watch the bike in front of you pass some kind of landmark, such as a road sign, the beginning of a guardrail, or a driveway, and then start counting. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. If you pass that landmark before finishing 2 Mississippi, you need to slow down and give yourself a little more room for reaction time. Note, some clubs and groups ride 2x2, and that's fine. Those people generally ride together a lot and have a high degree of trust. That's not what I'm talking about in these tips. What I'm talking about is what I think are probably the best practices for most people in general. 8. Check your mirror frequently. when you feel it is safe to do so. If you determine you have lost someone in the group behind you, you should try and find a safe place to pull off. The riders in front of you should recognize that you have pulled off and begin to slow down and pull off also, or turn around and come back to see what's going on. Depending on your experience level, you may want to wait for another rider to join you and then go back to look for a missing rider. If you are in a particularly large group, it may not make sense for everyone to pull off and go back together. 9. If you like to use the whole lane in a curve, ride as close to the back of the group as you can. I want everyone to ride safe and have a good time, but if you're moving from the left to the right side of the lane frequently, the rider behind you should give you the full 2 seconds of riding space. Otherwise, they may find that they are speeding up and slowing down trying to maintain a safe reaction distance from you. If they don't give you 2 seconds consistently and end up speeding up and slowing down, it can have a domino effect on the riders behind you and increase the risk to all the riders in the group behind you. 10. Some people may disagree with me on this one, but I think it's best to ride in the left or right track of the lane. Do not ride in the center. Vehicles tend to kick debris out of the road with their tires, and I generally find that more unsafe debris is left in the center of the lane. The exception to this would be roadkill, but generally roadkill in a tire track has been driven over and flattened by vehicles. Not that I would not still try to avoid riding over roadkill when possible. 11. Have a riding buddy. If you're going on a large group ride with strangers, say for a charity ride like a toy run or a funeral escort, then try to find someone to ride with and look out for each other. The sweep should stop and help anyone that falls out of the group with trouble. But if you're in a large group, the sweep may have already had to fall back and help someone else. So having a riding buddy ensures that you have someone to help you should you have a mechanical issue or some other kind of problem. 12. Don't show up for a group ride no matter how great the cause is if your motorcycle is an unsafe piece of crap, or you yourself are unsafe to ride in a group. A few years back, we did a huge group ride. A sweet little girl was dying of cancer, and when she knew her time was near, she announced publicly that she wanted bikers to escort her on her last ride. Hundreds of bikers showed up to escort Sydney when she passed, including me and some of my friends. We ended up having some guy in the procession in front of us on a piece of crap that he could not keep running. He would stall the bike and start to pull out of the formation, then get the bike running again and jump back into the group where at times he did not have room to join in. Don't be this dipshit and put other people in danger. 13. This is one I would like your feedback on. I've been in group rides with Trikes, and sometimes they're in the front or middle, but usually I find they prefer to ride in the back of the group. I've seen various comments on where they should be. Some feel they should be in the back because they are harder to see around. Others say they should be treated just like a two-wheeler. The Motorcycle Safety Foundation does not address where in the group they should ride, but does recommend they ride in the center of the lane, and that the bike or trike behind them should always give them a 2-second cushion. 14. Do not pass. By this I mean do not get out of the formation and pass other riders in the group, then try to squeeze back into the group. This can mess up the staggered formation, and it's dangerous as well. I know on a local ride recently, a trike passed other motorcycles and then got back into the formation, and they got tangled in with the motorcycle. I don't know who was at fault. I wasn't on the ride. I just heard about it. But these are the kinds of dangers that exist when those kinds of things happen. So in general, do not pass other riders in the formation. 15. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. Group riding is not for everyone. If it makes you nervous, if it makes you uncomfortable, or whatever it is it makes you feel, the fact is if you don't enjoy it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it, or you're probably not ready for group riding. Now, if you enjoy riding in the pack with your friends, then I hope you got some value out of this video. Now, if you do enjoy riding with your friends in a big pack, then that's great. I hope these tips help someone out there. I'm sure there's more tips than just these, but these are the ones I felt were the most important things for people to remember when they're getting ready to go on a group ride. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you do that YouTube thing, check out the content on my channel. And if you dig it, hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to ring the bell to be notified the next time I drop a new video. And as always, thank you for your support. Stay safe and keep on riding.